Is the grocery store a good place to find love? Joining us now is award-winning actress, writer, and producer Krista Hovsepian, who stars as Julia in a new web series called Wholesome Foods, I Love You. Is that okay? Welcome to What She Said, Julia.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so Wholesome Foods is a romantic comedy about a lovably neurotic yoga teacher who, after surviving a few incredibly rough years, stumbles upon her one true love, Wholesome Foods Market? Tell us more.
That's right, yeah. The story is basically a heightened version of my life. You know, I moved out to LA and it just felt like a perfect fit out there. And I don't...
Lotus Land kind of thing?
Yeah, and I was talking about this with some friends the other night, and they were talking about like going out drinking and having cocktails after work and stuff. And it's totally fine if that's what people want to do with their time, but it's not anything I've ever been drawn to. And it dawned on me like, oh, that's what the appeal is for me. Like I go to yoga and I go to Whole Foods. That's that's where I'm social. That's where I meet friends.
I call it whole paycheck.
Right. I mean, there is that aspect too. Yeah.
So, as you said, you're living in LA still?
Yeah.
But you're currently from Waterloo.
I'm from Waterloo. I spent 15 years in Toronto and did my master's in Berlin.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when did you get your start in the acting world?
I officially started like training and pursuing work when I was 7. But my mom was a flight attendant. She had passes to Hawaii when I was a kid. We were out at a hotel somewhere, and there was a crew shooting a commercial for the hotel. And I was like, you know, this chubby little kid with like curly ringlets. And they were like, we have to put your daughter in this thing. And I did that. I loved it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell us how this relationship with the market grows.
Yeah, I mean, I think my character Julia is going through a lot of personal shifts, and we talk a lot in this community about how there's a fine line between using things like a healthy lifestyle and yoga to help ourselves and to really pursue wellness, or using it as a way to like feel like we have control over things, or even a way to harm ourselves where we're like restricting and overtraining. And I think she's like towing that line the whole time, where like she's a little bit obsessed with the lifestyle and she's trying to solve something in her life. She's literally like looking for love in the aisle at the health food store, trying to fill herself up with this thing that's supposed to be good for her.
So where did you get the inspiration for this?
I spend a lot of time at organic supermarkets. I grew up seeing healers and energy workers and going to health food stores and...
Yeah, there's a reference here to the 7 wonders of the secret spice world.
Yes, it's a very magical
Do you know them?
place. I don't off the top of my head, but I should create them. Yeah.
So what does Julia do in the show? She goes there daily. She bonds with customers.
Yeah,
How does this work?
She knows the staff members. The produce manager, Fred, played by Kyle Buchanan. They have like their own little like secret handshake dance, and like he gets certain items in the store just for her. And she has this friend Cartwright who he's going through some tumultuous times as well. He went to Harvard on a badminton scholarship. His dad passed away, and our first episode is called Solace at the Supermarket, and that's what he's seeking. He like hangs out there. It's it's the sense of community. It's all of these like quirky, neurotic people hanging out, trying to better themselves.
I'd find it kind of, I got to admit, creepy if somebody started like coming up to me. How do you avoid that aspect of it?
I think it's all the energy and the intention, right? Like, yeah, there are certainly people who approach you anywhere and it feels a little bit creepy. But I don't know, if people are like light and seem really genuine. I talk to people at the supermarket all the time. I do know the cashiers at my organic market very well.
Yeah.
And there's nothing creepy about it at all.
But when you think about it, is it any creepier than going online and swiping a picture of somebody left or right that you've never met before?
Right.
At least if you're in the supermarket, you get some sort of it's face-to-face and it's some sort of a vibe.
Right,
I mean,
or someone coming up to you in a coffee shop. I will say I did have a store employee one time ask for my number. He wasn't creepy about it, but I felt a little bit unsure of how to proceed because I was like, this is where I buy my groceries every day and you work here. So I don't know. I think it comes down to like the connection and the intention. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the show features a diverse cast and crew, including 17 women characters and female DPs, camera operators, directors, and producers, and an all-female music department.
Yes.
Was that intentional?
It was intentional, yeah. I've been a member of Women in Film in both Toronto and LA for years. I was at the Women in Film at TIFF reception last night. It was beautiful. And I served on the Toronto Actor Women's Committee. I think, I'm a woman. Why wouldn't I work to increase visibility within the industry?
That's awesome. So what's your favorite part of the whole process?
Oh, I think it's still acting, like being on set on the day, dropping into character, connecting with other actors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's working for you because you recently won Best Actress for your role as Julia at the Sicily Web Festival
I did.
In Italy. So congratulations.
Thank you. And we actually, just after that, we won Best Ensemble in Seoul.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you hope people take away from the show?
I mean, I think that, life is messy and we're all human and we're all imperfect, and it's okay to live in that and to be honest about that. We don't have to wear these masks and try to keep up these facades about being perfect and not feeling darker feelings. And Julia has a lot of awkward, messy moments in her life, and that's really what it's all about. I think the more that we talk about it and the more honest we are about it, the easier it is to really connect and feel connected to other people and less alone in this weird process that we call life.
So where can people actually see this? Because it's been streamed more than 500,000 times.
Yeah. You can find us on our website, wfily.com, or on YouTube.
You're doing season 2?
We're working on it, yeah. We're
On
outlining
season
it
2
right
now.
now. And then my collaborators and I just shot a completely different series in December that we're finishing up post on.
Ooh.
You want to tell us a little bit
Yeah,
about that?
tell us
while
about
you're
that
here?
too.
Sure, yeah. It's called FET. Being in LA, I didn't anticipate Americans calling it feet.
Oh, it's FETE, as in you're
Yeah.
fating somebody? Or-
A celebration, a party. It's the story of 3 sisters. They have a very dysfunctional relationship, and it takes place on the eldest sister's birthday every year over a period of 5 years. So we shot the whole thing around the same family birthday table. I play this off-the-wall character who brings a different partner every year. She's always going through her own thing. She finds a way to make the birthday all about her. And the sister herself is going through dealing with some fertility issues, IVF, a divorce, and I still find a way to be insensitive and make it about me. But it's still, there are really funny moments. Yeah. It's still
Is
comical.
it primarily a comedy?
I set out to write a drama, and about two sentences into the first page, I was like, oh, it's going to be a comedy again.
It's going to be a comedy, yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you about languages, because it seems to me that if you're getting awards in Italy and Seoul, people all over the world are watching.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty easy at this point in time to get captions done and then to
Yes.
send them off and have it translated. So
When we were talking earlier, before we started the interview, you told me that you actually crowdfunded to get the
did.
first series. That's
Yeah.
brave and,
it
and
was not
successful.
an easy process.
Why do you think it's so hard for people to find funding? Because obviously this show is resonating
Yeah.
with people.
I think, honestly, a lot of us buy into the story that it's hard. And I'm still working on pulling that apart. But there are people who get funding and find funding. And there is money out there. I think we've been told for so many years that there's a lack of funding for the arts. And so we believe it and find ways to complicate it or find ways to prevent ourselves from receiving the funding that we need. So I'm really focusing on the psychology of that and trying to pull that apart and just be more open to asking.
Was it easier for the second series, this new series?
It was.
It was.
Yeah, it definitely was easier. Yeah. We also found ways to cut costs for that one by doing it in one location, having a smaller cast.
You've said where you can find it online. How do people connect with you online if they want to get hold
You
of
can
you?
find me on Instagram. I'm on Twitter and Facebook. I don't use them as often.
As often as Instagram. What's your handle?
It's my last name. It's at HOVSEPIAN.
Well, that's great. And we wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
She said